Right, we're slowly starting to have students join in. Good afternoon, everyone, wherever you're joining us from. If you've just joined us, we are hosting a art and design portfolio and creative industries webinar session with 3 UK universities. We're really excited to have you here. If you've just joined the session, please do stay muted till the end. If you've got any questions, you can always use the chat box to say hello and to also ask us any questions. Hello, thank you for joining. We've just got 1 minute to go to the session. Again, if you've just joined us, feel free to say hello to us in the chat box. The session today is a art and design webinar focusing on preparing a portfolio from UK universities, including Art University Bournemouth, Ravensbourne, and Art University Plymouth. So again, yeah, do feel free to say hello in the chat box and do stay muted for the entirety of the session, and we will take any questions at the end. Thank you. Okay, we're going to kickstart again. Thank you so much, everybody. Welcome to the Art and Design Creative Industry session with 3 UK universities, Art University Bournemouth, Ravensbourne, and Art University Plymouth. We're going to be focusing on preparing a portfolio with the experts Lucy Ward, Tanya March, and Pamela Chen. So firstly, a big warm welcome to all of our students, and thank you to all the panelists as well for joining us today. So over to you, Tanya.
Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name's Tanya from Arts University Bournemouth, and you can see my colleagues there, Lucy and Pamela. We're just going to do a quick run through about preparing a portfolio for a UK university application. Enjoy. So over to you, Pam. Oh, hang on. There we go.
Hello, I'm very happy to be here to talk about tips and what to be considering when you are preparing for a portfolio. And I'm very happy to pair up with my colleagues from two different universities, Tanya and Lucy, and also our organizer, SIUK, Ravina. So what we'll cover today is, firstly, we're going to have a quick intro to our universities, and then we're going to move on to talk about what a portfolio is and what to include. And when we talk about sketchbooks, what are they? And also we're going to give you tips on presentation formats for your portfolio. And we're also going to look at common mistakes when it comes to student preparing for their portfolio. And we're going to give you top tips to avoid these mistakes as well. And then we're going to also discuss auditions and interviews and tips on that. And then we move on to a question and answer session. And we'll then provide further information for you at the end of this session.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lucy. So I'm from Arts University Plymouth. I'm currently working in the international team, helping out with inquiries and student recruitment. And I'm actually also in my third year at the moment as well. I'm finishing my undergraduate in illustration. So I'm just going to give you a brief rundown of Arts University Plymouth, who we are and what we offer. So if we pop onto the next slide, please. So Arts University Plymouth was founded in 1856, and it was originally known as the Plymouth Drawing School. So it's run by artists and designers for artists and designers. So we have a really vibrant community. Our Tavistock Place campus is also home to a Fab Lab, Plymouth Art Cinema and Mirror Gallery as well. And we were also previously this year just gone, we co-hosted the British Art Show 9. So that was an amazing experience for our students to be involved in. We were also awarded university title in 2022. So we were voted the winner of the What Uni 2022 award for the best small or specialist arts university. And we were also voted the top arts university in the UK for student satisfaction in 2022 via the National Student Survey. So we're located on the coast of Devon in the southwest of England, and we're in Plymouth, which is Britain's ocean city. So we've got a beautiful waterfront and we've got loads of beautiful surrounding scenery as well. It's also a really up and coming city for the arts as well. So it's a very vibrant creative community here. If we could pop onto the next slide, please. So this is just a little bit about our facilities and lab spaces that we have on site. So Plymouth Arts University Plymouth is home to over 13,000 square meters of studios and workshop spaces across 4 city centre sites, filled with professional workspaces, studios and state-of-the-art facilities. We currently have over 1,500 students, which is growing every year. And our labs provide an open access workshop space for students, which again just adds to the interdisciplinary element of our studio spaces. So it breaks down the barriers and provides unique opportunities for students to engage in interdisciplinary study. So if we can go on to the next slide, please. Thank you. So this is just a little bit about what you might go on to do after you study one of our courses. So the creative sector is the fastest growing part of the UK economy at the moment. It's contributing 111.7 billion each year, and the data proves that that trend is set to continue. So when you begin your professional career, well, it begins as soon as you start university with us, and we encourage students to think for themselves as practitioners from day one of your course, whatever you wish to do, and we will support you in becoming whatever you wish to go on to be. So in a way, this list starts to represent the true potential of a degree at Arts University Plymouth, and we will help you to develop your professional practice. We run modules every year on professional practice, and then we will help set you up for industry later on.
Oh, my turn now. Okay, thank you, Lucy. Fabulous. Yeah, so Arts University Bournemouth. We're a leading, as we say here, leading university for the creative industries, and the word industries is very important. We work very closely with industry to make sure that all our courses are relevant to what's happening right now. Innovation, collaboration, connection, turning talent into careers. We're very heavy on the career aspect. So we're a leading specialist in art, design, media and performance. So practically anything you can think of really that's creative. We also were established a long time ago, 130 years ago. And the thing that makes us quite unique is that we are one campus. So it's a really inspirational place to be, full of creativity. It's a great place to be inspired, I suppose, by your fellow creatives. Just walking around the corner, you'll see something, and it's just amazing. Even the architecture is quite strange, head turning, I think they call it. So we have some buildings designed by very famous architects. In fact, we had Zaha Hadid herself, who was here to open our latest building. That was her last appointment before she died, unfortunately. So we're small, with 4,000 students, and 20% of these are international students. We really welcome that diverse view on the world. It really helps make it a great place to be. Top 100 university, like I said, working very closely with industry. A lot of industry businesses come to work with our students. A lot of them come and take our students to employ them. So that's great if that's on work placement once they've graduated. The students would get a really a good feel for life after graduation. And also we offer scholarships. So for international students, this is a great thing to have. I realized that you know, different courses have different prices and different, and if you're in London it's high, or maybe not so much down here. We are proud to be 20% lower just in living costs even than in London, even though we're only 2 hours away. These are our BA courses. We do offer foundation, a 1-year foundation diploma and a 6-month intense version of the same. We also have 23 undergraduate courses, and as you can see here, they cover all subjects. Some are more difficult than others to get onto. We also house the Bournemouth Film School, which is the second biggest film school in the UK. And this is where we are. This is a big selling point. Right on the beach, 12 miles of beach. We have 3 universities in Bournemouth, so it's a buzzing place, especially in the summer. Here you can see some of our strange buildings. These are actually the accommodation blocks. The top left one is the campus halls on campus. The one to the left is in the centre of town. Yeah, nice place to be. Just 2 hours on the train to London as well. And that's it. Over to you, Pam.
Thank you, Tanya. And yes, I'll also briefly introduce our university, Ravensbourne University, London. Next slide, please.
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, who are we? Ravensbourne University, London. I think we can get all those 5 points out. Thank you.
I enjoyed it.
And so 5 things for you to remember. Thank you. So we are a specialist creative university. Is it okay?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's just back to the previous slide, please. Yes, thank you. So we are a specialist creative university, which is great because now the creative, digital and tech industries are booming, and as a specialist creative university, our graduates enter the job market industry ready and equipped with the mindset and the skill set to really succeed. And we deliver courses in digital media, design and technology, and our staff bring them years of experience with the industry experience. So they have honed their skills working with the very best, and will be here to encourage and inspire our students. We also collaborate with the creative and digital industries, and that's ingrained in everything we do. We work side by side with the industry, and we have forged relationships with a range of companies, from small, medium enterprises to world famous organizations. And we also provide our students with industrial standard facilities. So our students have access to our prototyping facilities, virtual reality or augmented reality facilities, and the mixed reality labs and research labs, incubation center. And we also organize dedicated events and exhibition spaces and activities for our students. Next one, please. We're going to look at our building. Yes, please. Thank you. So our campus, our building is built in 2010, and we are located right next to the O2 Arena, and we're in the heart of this new design district, which is an ideal place for our creative students to study. And we are also considered, we are based in London. So London is considered one of the major creative capital of the world. So studying in London, that's it gives you immense opportunities. You'll be studying, in London in competition with the likes of New York. And also thanks to our eco-friendly design and our futuristic look, our building won the RIBA award for Best Higher Education Building shortly after we opened. And also our open plan spaces make it perfect for collaboration. We also have a new institute for creativity and technology. It's an ecosystem of professional partnerships, industry networks, and business incubation. And the next one, please.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you. So in the last year, we have our edit and post-production graduates nominated for a BAFTA for the documentary film, I think it's a documentary film, Keyboard Fantasies. So that speaks a lot for our film, TV, and post-production courses. And we also have our current students from brand design who won Copperberg limited edition bottle design competition. And now the bottles are displaying his design all over the world. And also the student got his third year fees covered by the brand. And we also have our students designed outfit for actors in the Netflix series Bridgerton, as you can see in one of the image here. And also we are the only university joining London Fashion Week. So for students who are enthusiastic about fashion design, then this is very valuable experience for our an opportunity for our fashion design students. And also this year, our creative director of in our university, also our in-house creative agency, Creative Lab, produced a series of documentaries for the BBC, which tells the story of how 3 iconic underground music scenes were created on the street of London and the impact it has. So yeah, our students and our faculties do a lot of amazing things, getting students to the industrial, to expose to the industry, and then started developing their professional network. Next one, please. So this is a summary of the courses we offer. So we haven't listed all the courses here, so it's just the areas of courses you can study for foundation level and undergrad. And we have we also have limited programs on postgrads. That's because we only offer practically focused digital media and design courses from pre-degree to postgrad. Our courses are driven by industry standard, and these courses are supported by the latest high performance technology. And we aim to produce highly employable and enterprising students, graduates. And we have a strong track record in graduate employability and business creation. We have a community of approximately 2,600 students. So that's a guarantee of you having maximum contact time and support from your tutor. And it's very easy for you to network and get to know students from your own course and from other courses. Which gives you valuable transferable skills, which you would talk a lot at a job interview. Yes, that's us, Ravensbourne University. Okay, I'm also going to quickly introduce our next session, which is about portfolio. So what is a portfolio? Think about it as, you know, a CV when you apply for a job. So a portfolio is a chance for the admissions team, the tutors to know who you are, a chance for you to show, to tell who you are, and to also to show your idea development journey, how you develop your idea and what kind of research you've done, and also to showcase your technical abilities when you show your drawings, your sketchbooks, and that get the universities, the admissions team to understand how you create. And we also want to know what your influences are, who inspires you. So these are the elements that you will want to include in a portfolio. This is an example of different portfolios that we've seen over the years. So different portfolios for different courses, obviously, and you if you apply, for example, if you apply for, you know, different creative courses, one let's say you apply for fashion and architecture as well, then you will have to cater your portfolio to these different courses that you would choose. And universities will often ask for process work in addition to final perfected pieces. So you really have to check these different universities, what they're looking for specifically. Different courses and different university might be asking for, you know, slightly different things. So you also have to cater your portfolio to different institutes as well. And we may also ask for work using different mediums or disciplines. So you want to consider using a larger portfolio document that you can adapt to create a portfolio that meets the requests of the specific course, such as if you're applying for, let's say, animation, then or film or TV production, then the documents that you need might be a larger one to help you to fit all your portfolios together. And also, very importantly, you always check with the university about what they want to see, which is very vital. Yes, the next one, please. Thank you. So what to include in your portfolio? We recommend including 15 to 20 pieces. This include 2D work, such as drawing, sketches, so on and so forth. And you will also want to include 3D work, such as models, sculpture, and gametes, and you take pictures and then include in amongst these 15 to 20 pieces. We would like to see photography work as well. We'd like to see objects that inspire, and we want to see the material and patterns that you're interested in. You also want to show texture and environments in your photographic work as well. Depending on the courses as well, you might want to include landscapes and figures, buildings, landscape buildings. That's even more so if you want to apply for architectural studies or interior design, and portraits as well. That's to show you know, how you can utilize lighting and everything. You will also like to see digital work as well, graphics, images, drawings, and animation, even more so if you're applying for courses that's digitally creative, you know, subjects. If you're applying for film or TV production, then you definitely want to include short movies, scripts, and photographs. So that's a summary of what you should consider including in your portfolio.
Okay, thank you.
So next
for...
Lucy. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm just going to talk quickly about idea development, which is a really essential part of any creative portfolio. So yeah, it's really important that you show us how you're working, because oftentimes this will tell us the most about your potential as an artist or a designer, really more so than just seeing the final pieces. So on the next slide here, you can see just an example of someone showing their idea development. So this ranges from initial sketches, annotations, even it could go as far back as research potentially, your initial ideas for a project. Thumbnailing is something that we really love to see if it's drawing, for example, that you're submitting. And you can see here the different variations that they've tested out until they've gotten to their final piece. This really applies a lot of context to the final piece that we're viewing, and we can see where the idea originally came from, and then their own understanding of potentially like color theory, composition, storytelling that then goes into creating a well-rounded final piece. So if we could pop onto the next slide, please. So sketchbooks are the best way of presenting your idea development. So they're extremely important as they allow us to see the journey of your work. And it's also a great platform to share your annotations as well. So this gives us a good idea of what you're thinking as you're developing your work. So like I said, it shows a journey from initial ideas. You can see some quite rough sketches on the slide here, but then they can lead on to perhaps a very finished, polished final piece. So again, this just shows the context of the work and the reason behind why you're making something as well, which is incredibly important. Yeah, if we could pop onto the next slide again, please. So drawing is something, it's not just applicable to perhaps 2D courses. Drawing can go into any course that you're applying for, really, any kind of creative course. It's just such a key transferable skill to have. And something we really like to see is life drawing, because it shows your ability to capture live expressions and movement, but also things like still life and drawing from reference is really important as well. So you don't necessarily have to be doing something like illustration to be showing us your drawings. You might be doing fashion and have fashion illustrations. You might even be doing animation and be doing storyboarding. That's something that we would love to see as well. If you're doing interior design, you can do like some spatial sketching. So there's lots of different things that you can present to us through drawing, no matter what course you want to go on to. You're muted at the moment, Tanya.
Typical. Another thing that we like to have, you have to remember, is that people who look at your portfolio are very, very busy people. They see thousands of portfolios, and presentation is key. As we say, your portfolio, it has to be of your best work. So we've already said we like about 15 to 20 pieces. If, for example, you've only got 14 and you put another picture in just to make up the numbers, but it's not so good, maybe that is the one piece that tutor who's looking through your portfolio will remember. So one thing is very important in your presentation of your portfolio is to always put your best work. Okay, even if it doesn't make it up to 15 or 20 pages, just put your best work. We like to see diversity. What we're looking for, if you want, is not somebody who is an architect or a fashion designer. We're looking for somebody who's got full of ideas. So that's why we like diversity. So lots of different things. Make sure that your imagery is quality, is the best you can make it. Remember, like I said, that person is going to be looking through your portfolio very quickly. So make sure it's the best that you can possibly make it. It's really important as well to put some context. So labeling, I mean, it might be a project that you've worked on for a long time and you know it inside out, but we don't. So just put some labeling next to an image. Tell us very subtly what it's about. Tutors don't have the time to read long paragraphs, just 50 words or so, just to give some idea what that project's for, what it's about, what you were trying to achieve. We like the idea of storytelling. I mean, if you're going to be, the whole idea of following a creative career is that's what it's, no matter the medium, it's all telling a story. So tell that story in your portfolio. Make sure that presentation is top. It talks about you from the first page to the last page. Be very deliberate as well with your work. Like I said, if there's anything you're not really proud of, take it out. Okay. If a good way to do it would be to show your portfolio to somebody who knows nothing about art. Maybe it's your nan, maybe it's your friend, maybe it's a colleague at school. Ask them what they think and if they can understand it from the first page to the last. And that is a good way to show that your portfolio is telling a good story. It's easy to read and people know what you're about. One important thing as well, talking about presentation, is photographing your work. Please take care. This is where a piece of work that you might have spent hours over can really lose it, and it's a shame. We put these photos here as an example. If you look at the bottom right photo there of that wonderful maquette that somebody's made, it's obviously taken a long time. It's a nice photo, but it's not perfect. I mean, take care. Look at the background there. There's something in the top left corner. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see a cup of tea or a plug socket or someone's foot or the edge of the table or things like that. Really make sure that your photos are in focus and that there's nothing to distract from your piece of work. Okay, next one, a digital portfolio. So very often, as you're an international student, you will be asked to present us with your portfolio digitally. Some courses now want to see an actual physical portfolio, so we always recommend you create one of those as well. Who knows, you might be there invited in for an actual in-person interview, with your portfolio. But a digital portfolio is essential. And this is pretty basic, really. You've got to make sure that we can see it. You would be so surprised how many people will send us a link that doesn't work. And then there's all the process of trying to get it to work, get in contact with you, going backwards and forwards, which it doesn't put you in a good place. So please check that before you even send it to us. There's lots of different ways you can send us, different software that you can use, YouTube videos. We love to see that. These are just some examples of how you can create your portfolio there. I don't need to read them out, you can read them there. Be sure to try your portfolio on a different system. You know, a Mac doesn't work the same sometimes as a PC. Well, it doesn't in our office anyway. So make sure you don't have any logins, any passwords. Ensure that the files aren't too big, no large images. Resize them, make them small so that we can flick through that portfolio really quickly and cleanly. And over to Pam. Oh, she's on mute too.
Sorry, easy mistake to make, which is leading us to this one. The common mistakes we've seen, such as a lack of academic rigor. So we want to see, you demonstrate your methodology, your research, your planning, and idea generation. A common mistake is that we don't see that from a student's portfolio. Sometimes we receive portfolio only showing the end result of a piece of work, which is also great, but then the portfolio must show your journey of your creative development. So it's very important that you demonstrate the methodology that you are adapting. So research, planning, and idea generation, these are very important. And the next one is that a lack of concepts or ideas from a portfolio. We've also seen that a lot as well. A lot of times we've seen very nice aesthetics, beautiful work, but then what's the idea behind it? Or if your ideas stand out, you also have to give a lot of thought into this as well. Basically, we want to understand why you developed this piece of work and what's the concept behind it. What message are you trying to convey? So keep that in mind too. Another common mistakes we've seen is that the communication or presentation is a little bit messy. So it's very vital, especially for digital folio. You need to use, maybe subtle labeling, the tips that Lucy talked about earlier. You need to explain your work, and as Tanya mentioned, a lot of times the faculties and the admissions officers, they're very busy. So you have to be clean and neat on your presentation, and the communication must be clear as well. So again, when you photograph your piece of work, then you have to keep these in mind. Make sure the presentation it's pleasant. And again, Tanya mentioned earlier, a common mistake is that you including the piece of work that you're not that fond of just to making up the numbers. We don't want to see that as, and also as Tanya mentioned, if you only have 14 pieces of work, but they shows us. But if they show us, all the elements that we're looking for, such as your research, your developing journey, and have a strong idea or concept behind, if these are all great, then even if you only have 14 pieces of work, that's fine. Don't just include anything just to make up the numbers. So these are the common mistakes that we would strongly advise you to avoid. Further tips, top tips, really check the website for guidance. Like we mentioned earlier, different universities and different courses would have slightly different guidance or requirements in terms of your the portfolio that we want to see. So please do check out the course page, the university page for the details. And also individual personal statements. Alongside your portfolio, you also have to include your personal statement. So talk with your tutors, and also maybe speak to the universities at open day and ask them for advice in terms of personal statements, what they would like to see, what you should include. And the third one is that to show a variety of your work and the raw creative process. So a variety of your work, some of the examples we showed earlier, you need to include your drawings, sketches, and you also include, your pictures, photography for different objects, maybe sceneries and portraits. So you need to use a variety of creative pieces to make up the portfolio. And the raw creative process, which is what we mentioned earlier, we want to see your developing journey, the process of you, of your how you create a raw idea to the end piece. So we want to see that process. And next one, we can't stress this enough: quality, but not quantity. And also to correspond with what Tanya mentioned, photograph large pieces, and also make sure that you don't have a very messy, background in the picture, and caption work with short statements. Like we mentioned earlier, we're very busy. Admissions officers, they're very busy. So be very neat and clear, and to convey the message of your work. And lastly, use accessible platform and or links for digital submission, especially for international students, considering a lot of the times the interviews would be held online. So look out for this as well. Thank you. And over to Lucy. Sorry, Tanya.
Yeah.
Or Lucy.
There we go. All right. Obviously, I'm not technically minded, as you can tell. Yes. Digital auditions. Some of you might be applying to courses for music or acting or stuff like that, and obviously you're not going to need a portfolio at all, because we'll need to have an audition. So sometimes if you can't come to the actual place, it will be digital, and these can be pre-recorded videos of you performing. For example, I know at AUB for our acting course, for example, we ask for, in the audition, they have to give a contemporary modern piece, a play, for example, and a Shakespeare. That's for an example of the kind of things that you might be asked to do. So practice those, practice talking to a camera or playing your music to a camera to feel relaxed, so that you feel proud of what you're about to do. So each course is going to be different. So like we say, even for the portfolio courses, auditions for music or acting, for example, will be different. So please check the website. It's so important that you check the website. And for each university, they might ask for different things. So make sure you do that. Like I said here, there might be set requirements. So maybe you can't actually choose which Shakespeare piece you've got to present, and they'll give you a set piece to do. Like I said, all things will be on each website. So please, please, please check each university. They might ask for something slightly different.
So just quickly about how to stand out from everyone else when you're submitting your portfolio. So the best way to do this is to show us your personal projects that you've been working on, and your more unique work. So oftentimes, if you've studied a creative course in the past at school, you'll have a lot of schoolwork in your portfolio, but a really great way to then level up your portfolio is to show us personal projects you've been working on. So that could really be anything. It might be a series of portrait photography that you're doing. It could be like a short film that you've made in your own time. It might even just be sketches at that stage if you've not had the chance to go on to do a proper final project. But yeah, just having something a bit more individual, something that you've set yourself to do, so a self-directed brief, that really will make you stand out from everyone else. Also including some collaborative work, so you might have done, again, it could be at school or it could be in your own time, but working alongside someone, even better if it's in multiple mediums. So for example, you might be interested in illustration and working with someone who's doing fashion design, and you might do the illustrations for them. That's a really great way of showcasing collaboration in your portfolio. But we also, more so than anything, just want to see a bit of individuality. So show us a bit of personality through your work. This can be in the annotations and the sketches. You might already have maybe a bit of a personal style in your artwork. That's not a requirement, but that can really make you stand out as well if we can see something throughout your work that makes you stand out and it's a bit identifiable to you. So if we can pop on to the next slide, please. And then interviews. So again, as someone mentioned earlier, interviews for international students are slightly different because they'll often be online. So it's nothing to worry about. We just want to get an idea of who you are, how you work, and it's the perfect time to showcase your commitment to study. And this might then go into whether or not you're eligible for a scholarship as well. So if we can see that you're really dedicated to what you want to go on and study, see that you're passionate about the course, and yeah, just get a good idea of how you're going to come across in your sessions. That's something that the tutors are really keen to see. Like I said, it's nothing to worry about. We're not going to like scrutinize you. We're not going to try and catch you out or on anything. If you get asked a difficult question, just be honest. Just, yeah, don't make things up. That's never the best approach to anything. So we just want to have a discussion with you about your work and get a sense of why you're creating the things you're creating and what you want to go on to do. So yeah, don't be afraid. And then here you can check out our portfolio requirements. So if you've got a scanner on your phone, for example, you can scan the QR codes here. All three of us have listed our different portfolio requirements on here. So they won't necessarily always be super strict. So ours, for example, is more of just advice and guidelines, but some universities might have very set requirements. So yeah, it's always important to check these out and make sure that you know what you're submitting to each university.
Right, I think that's it. We've covered most stuff, but I'm sure we've forgotten something. So if you've got any questions and answers, please go ahead and we'll do our best to answer. So you can put them in the chat box if you like, or put on your microphones. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Tanya, Lucy, and Pamela. That was a really great presentation that you put together. So we've actually had some really interesting questions come through from our YouTube channel. So if you want, I can start reading them out. So the very first one we've got is around career advice. So the student is asking that if they come in to study in London or the UK in general, do any of your institutions offer support in careers for progress into creative industries post-graduation?
Who do you want to answer that?
I think we can maybe all talk a little bit about what our university would offer in terms of career advice, and I'm happy to be the first one. So at Ravensbourne, we do have career advisors to help you with your CV development and then interview tips. And in terms of support for career at Ravensbourne, we basically encourage students to enter a lot of competitions competitions, that definitely helps you with the industrial exposure, definitely help you with, your career development. And we also have this 6 weeks period to work alongside an industry. So that's also vital for getting the career, aspect of experience. You also get to, get to network with professionals from the industry. So these are just some of the examples of the support we provide for students. And over to Tanya or Lucy to talk about the kind of support your universities also offer.
I'll go if you don't mind, Lucy. We have a dedicated careers department because there's no point. Our view at Arts University Bournemouth is that there's no point really in going to university unless, or especially in the creative industry, unless you want to get a job. It's a lot of money, it's a lot of time, and we want to get it right for you. So we have a dedicated department that focuses on just that. So throughout, it's not just like the last term in the 3rd year or something. Throughout your 3 years, you are encouraged to in your holidays as well, to go and find work placements as well. We have people from industry, as I said, who always come in and set live projects as well. And they come and we have, for example, in acting, agents that come and sit in the back of the theatre and, things like that. We have in the 3rd year, more so, I suppose, things on how to do your social media, how to set up a website, how to approach industry, practice interviews. We have a jobs board. So I believe that is a pretty standard thing across most universities right now. So please don't worry. Obviously, we can't get you a job for you. We're encouraging you because you have to go out and get the jobs yourself. You can't be handheld all the way, but we'll make sure you have the best advice. Lucy?
Yeah, so my answer is quite similar. We've got 2 aspects to our careers support. We do have a dedicated careers team who you can work with all throughout your time here. And then they also will work with graduates for, I believe it's definitely at least 1 full year after you graduate. So you can get in contact with them and they'll help you to find work experience afterwards. But also we do professional practice modules every year as well, where you will be doing live briefs, competitions, you'll be speaking to people from industry. So that is a module that runs every single year that you study here. So for example, at the moment, I'm finishing my 3rd year now. I've actually got an illustration agent coming in 2 weeks' time to review my portfolio with me. So yeah, we've got constant connections with industry as well.
I think, Lucy, that thing that you had mentioned, I forgot to mention, that alumni connection is really important, that we'll support you after you've left. It's not like once you're out the door, we don't want to see you again. We have a lot of alumni who still have access to all our facilities and helping careers. I think, like Lucy said, it's 1 or 2 years afterwards. I think even longer. We have a society, we like to see what you're all up to. So next question.
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks for that. I think just very briefly, since Lucy, you said you're kind of going through the process, you're in your 3rd year. Just following on from that question, what do you think is the best time to get in touch with the careers department? Did you do it in your 1st year, your 3rd year? When did you actually reach out to them?
So for me, I think we're really lucky that they reach out to us from day one. Really, they make sure that we know that they're there. I personally reached out to them a bit more in 2nd year once I had a better understanding of my own practice. I think that's typically, on average, a good time to start reaching out to the careers team. You might have a strong understanding of what you want to do even before then, or you might just want to get a head start. So they're always available to talk to. They're definitely not just there for 3rd year or graduating students. But yeah, I think it's good to get a bit more direction before you reach out to them, just so that you're not spending too much time on pathways that, potentially you could be spending that time figuring out exactly what you want to do. And then definitely in 3rd year, if you've not done it by then, it's good to just get in touch with them just to see what advice they can give you if you're feeling a bit stuck.
Great. No, really helpful, Lucy. Thanks for that. We've actually got a very specific question come through as well. So it's about 3D works in an application and how you could go about showcasing that. So they said, what's the best way to showcase 3D works in an application, especially for fashion design, architecture, or interior design?
I can answer it if you like.
Yeah, Tanya, we can start with you.
Yeah, photograph it or film it. You know, you can do great filming around like a 3D, you know, a short video, or photograph it. Like I said, make sure the lighting and the background, I'll go on about the background, is perfect, but that's the best way to do it. Yeah. So it
was great to see.
Yeah, you can include short films in your portfolio, obviously.
Great. No, it's great to see examples as well in your slides of like backgrounds and things like that. So that's really useful. Lucy, do you have any tips on that?
I would have said the exact same. Yeah, short video, nothing too long. You don't want the portfolio to become a huge file size that can, cause problems. You could even maybe compress it as like a GIF or something if you just wanted to show it from different angles. But yeah, if you've got good photos, then I wouldn't worry too much. But some pieces definitely do require a bit more of a 360 view. So yeah, short videos are always absolutely fine to include.
Great. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think Tanya and Lucy's already, answered question from all different, provided all details. I would say the same as well. Basically, photograph it or film it. But like Tanya said, making sure presentation of it is good without messy background, and like Lucy said, the size of the work as well. So yeah, I think that's all what we can advise.
Yeah, covered all ground there. Great. So the next question I directed to you, Pam, if that's okay. So the person is asking, could you please advise on the text to image ratio of a portfolio, as most universities ask students to come up with like a brief description within the portfolio?
Okay, so we don't really have a rigid, racial guideline. What we're asking is basic annotations on the pages. So, for example, the dates of the project, the materials used, or the size if it's a photo of a piece of work. So there isn't really a racial thing. We just wanted to see, that you have clear labeling, you have, clean annotation.
Great. Yeah, does anyone else want to add to that? Maybe Tanya, do you want to say something?
I'd put a bit of context for what the work is about and why it's there. Maybe, like I said, 50 words. This is to show this because of that, or But as Pam said, the title is quite important as well. Yeah, definitely.
I will also say, just be mindful of if there's paragraphs and paragraphs of text, we're not going to have the time to read that. So the quality is really important over the quantity. We're not looking to just see loads and loads of writing. We want to know the important bits and then keep it as concise as possible. So there's no concern for having too little writing as long as it contains everything you need to say.
Yeah.
Great, thank you so much. I don't really have any immediate questions come through from the chat, but I just want to say to all the students, we're here for another 6 minutes. So if you've got any last minute burning questions, do feel free to put it in the chat box. But in the meantime, I just wanted to ask each of you any kind of like final thoughts, and if you wanted to give students one tip on applying to creative courses or their journey into creative industries, what you might say to them. So if we can start with Pam, maybe.
Yes, I would say, as we mentioned earlier, check each institutions and each course requirements, check their what advice they give you on their page, and also really if you apply for two completely different areas of courses, that's fine, but make sure that you cater your portfolio, your application, your supporting documents such as your personal statements cater to the course you want to apply for. So that's that's the tip from me.
Great. Over to you, Lucy.
Yeah, I would say a big piece of advice is to not contain yourself too much to one discipline. If you're starting an undergraduate degree, you have 3 whole years to explore different creative avenues. So me, for example, in illustration, I've come into, by the time I was in my 2nd year, I realized how interested I was in surface pattern design and a bit more like textile illustration work. I think it's important to keep a really open mind as you're coming into your course, and to also present that in your portfolio as well, so that you're not limiting yourself too much and you get the full university experience. I'm also sorry, I'm just going to quickly pop our email address in the chat as well, because it's got the wrong one on the slide at the moment.
Oh, sorry, Lucy.
That's okay.
My advice would be to be really proud of your creative skills and shine if you can. We're looking for people who are not, as Lucy says, they're not maybe accomplished illustrators in one field, but they're not already perfect animators. They're not already, we're looking for people who have curiosity, who want to experiment, who want to try new things, maybe a little bit off the wall. Individuality is what we want. What the secret to a good statement and a good portfolio is to leave the viewer wanting more. So write your statement might be like a story. Write your portfolio, make it about you, what you're proud of about yourself, and be confident, because you're creative and we are the best. So
Great. Thank you so much, for all of that advice as well. We've actually got a question that I'm going to direct to Lucy, if that's okay. Marina is asking, is Flickr a good medium to present a digital portfolio?
Yeah, anything that's accessible. So as long as it doesn't have a password blocking it or anything, and it's not too large to download or anything. I mean, Flickr, my understanding is that it's just online anyway, so you don't need to download it. So yeah, as long as we can access it, for us anyway, that's absolutely fine. Some universities might have different requirements about specifically how you can submit your work, but we can accept links for platforms like Flickr, as long as we can just access it with one click of a link.
Great. I think I saw Tanya and Pam nodding as well, so I'm going to take that as a yes. We've actually got, one question from Nicole. So I'm going to direct that to you, Tanya. It says, do the pieces of work in the portfolio need to be the most recent work, or can they be from a few years ago?
They've got to be your best work and what you're really proud of. The recent work is better, because you might not draw, or to create something like you work like you did years ago. You've got to be the judge of that, your best work. We like to see the process that leads up to it as well. So that's what I'd get. I'm not going to put a date stamp on it, but that's what I would advise.
That makes sense.
I don't know what
do
the
you have
others
anything? Yeah, I was just going to say, if anyone else has anything to add as well, and that would be our last
I
question.
would say you can definitely include older work if you feel as though it's a good representation of what you're still creating. If it's completely irrelevant, then I would just take it out, and then just focus on the newer things, on what you're actually practicing at the moment, because there's no point including something that you don't ever intend to make again. So we want to see where you're going, not just what you've done in the past. It's about seeing what you're potentially going to go on to do at university.
Yeah, I agree with Tanya and Lucy. I think it's very well said. It's got to be relevant, and it's got to be something that you basically, it's just about being relevant, even if it's something that is you've done a few years ago and you're very proud of it, but if it's not relevant, then there's really no point of including it in.
Great. I just want to say again a massive thank you to everyone for joining us, to all of the students who are here, especially to all of our panelists, Lucy, Tanya, and Pam. That was a really great session. The session is being recorded and will be available on YouTube for all of our participants. So if you want to rewatch it, just let us know on email or contact us and we'll be able to send this across to you. But yeah, thanks everyone once again for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks.
Bye.